welcome back to another review, and welcome to the inside of the very cool, actually super cool Toyota GR Supra. Now this has been a car on my bucket list that I've wanted to drive for a very long time. Now I'm very fortunate enough to get the chance to do that and to show you guys exactly what it's all about. So without further ado, this is the Toyota GR Supra. Now obviously I need to show you the sound of it when it starts. Foot in the clutch, because it's a manual. Manuel. Here we go. Ooh. This is going to be a good one. Now the Supra is the epitome of a sports car. It's low, it's wide, it's rear wheel drive, it's a two-seater, and you've got a banging engine up front. Now it's also got a lot of history and a lot of culture. There was the Mark IV Supra, which also kind of solidified its place in the history books of being a sports car. That then died off, and we waited many years for the Mark V to come. It eventually did. It was a little bit controversial because it wasn't completely Toyota. So underneath the structure here, or the shell, you've got a BMW essentially. I did drive the BMW Z4 M40i, and that's essentially the same as this. It's just got a Toyota shell on it. Toyota tweaked things slightly, but they then eventually came ahead and launched the Mark V Supra, which is what this is, and it's very cool. But what makes this one special is the fact that it's going to be occupying my left hand throughout the entire video. Now usually this left hand of mine is going all over the place, talking, pointing, doing all that stuff. But today it's got a big job. Today it needs to concentrate and control the 6-speed manual, because today I'm getting hands-on with the sports car and I'm putting my whole body into this driving experience, because my left arm is managing the gears. My other arms together are managing the steering. My eyes are watching the road. My legs are braking. My left foot is on the clutch. My entire body is into this driving experience, and I'm all for it, because under the hood there you've got a turbocharged 3-litre inline-6 petrol engine putting out 285 kilowatts and 500 newton meters of torque. So you've got a lot of power up front. You've got the rear wheels working overtime, so there's a lot of concentration that needs to be happening here, but at the same time I need to make sure that I'm in the perfect gear at any given time. This Supra does not use any fake sounds, so there's no fake sounds being pumped into the cabin here. All of it is either coming from the induction up front or from the exhaust out the rear, and it's a decent sounding sports car. It's not overly loud, but I feel like when you're eventually getting onto it and you're in the higher revs, you then start to kind of reap the reward of the sounds that this car's putting out. But what elevates this car's driving experience is sport mode. So you put sport mode on and it just kind of brings the car to life. It makes the exhaust slightly louder from what I've picked up. It makes the accelerator also a bit sharper. The steering a little bit more of weighting to it, and it just makes this car ready to go. But what else you get is rev matching. So that also turns on automatically once you put the car into sport mode. And then once you start climbing through the gears and then you want to get more onto it and you downshift, it automatically shoots your revs up to where that particular gear would grab from, so that you aren't dropping and losing some power. It's always keeping you at your peak performance at all times. It's the perfect sports car. It gets so tail happy. You really have to concentrate. And traction and everything is still on properly. I just think that in sports mode it just lessens that slightly, so that you have the opportunity to play around if you want to, but it's always looking after you in the background just in case something happens. Wheel spin and slip. Yeah, I can see how much fun you can have with a car like this if you eventually take it onto a track or go to a track day. Yo, this thing would be a weapon. But it also doesn't have to be a ludicrous sports car all the time, because once you turn sport mode off, it goes back into like a comfort mode. I wouldn't call it eco at all, but once you do that, you then also get the engine start stop. So when you get to a stop, the engine will cut off to try and save you a little bit of fuel that you have, so that you can use the fuel for your peak performance times. It's also then quite a safe car too, so you do have some safety systems. You've got lane departure warning, you've got forward collision warning, you've got a reverse camera, you've got front park sensors, you've got rear park sensors. So you've got quite a bit that you would need in order to enjoy this as a daily driver. And in comfort or eco or non-sport mode, the suspension is also a little bit softer, so it's not as firm as what it would be in sport. And then some creature comfort, so you've got an infotainment system that you can have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of your car settings, everything you might need through there. Then below that, you've got a separated climate control, which is one of the aspects I wanted to talk about this car, is because it's a driver-focused car. There's a lot of things that have been taken into account to keep it like that, because your focus needs to be on driving and concentrating, especially in manual form. So you don't have to dig through this infotainment for your climate control and all that stuff. It's all separated. It's easy buttons, dials that you need to turn at any moment's notice while still being completely focused and concentrating on your drive ahead. Below that, you've also got some dials and buttons here to manage your infotainment if you want to, but because it's touchscreen, I'd leave that alone and I'd rather just navigate it through here. You've then obviously got the centerpiece of this interior, which is going to be this 6-speed manual transmission. You climb through the gears and then get to street speed limits very quickly. Downshift. And there, because I'm not in sport mode, it doesn't do the rev matching. So yes, you've got your gear shifter over here. Then on the side, you've got your sport mode that I spoke about. You've also got a button here called safety systems. So this is, again, what I spoke about, the climate control being separate. Your safety system button here simply turns off your safety systems completely. No forward collision warning, no lane departure warning. All of that stuff simply just turns off, right? So you don't have to dig through the infotainment to find that. It's one button away, and then you're away from any annoying beeps that you might incur. And to highlight the sportiness of this interior, you've got leather and Alcantara suede throughout this interior. On these seats, they're comfortable, they're supportive, they're electronically adjustable. You've got lumbar support. It carries through onto this interior too. Soft touch materials, no hard plastics. It's very well built. I mean, it's a Toyota, it's partly BMW, so you've got the best of both worlds. But it's not perfect inside here, because one of the design flaws, in my opinion, are these cup holders. Now, it's not a flaw to have cup holders, but the problem that I have with them is that they're in the way of doing what you're supposed to be doing in this car, which is manual shifting. Because as you can see here, I've got a cup, I've got a drink. Then when I put it in my drinks holder, very conveniently, it's now in the way of me trying to change gears. So, change gears, see, I hit it. So that's not very well designed at all. But the other problem here is that when you are cruising and you're just chilling, your arm and elbow sit inside this cup holder, which is hard. So it is very uncomfortable. What they should have done here is either put a nice little cover or something that closes and just shifted these cup holders to somewhere else that would have been more practical. It can't be in the doors, because here you can barely fit even an iPhone 14 Pro Max. That's how small these door cards are. So I don't know, not a lot of practicality in the front here, but there's definitely a lot of design that's gone into making it a driver focused car, which I love. And in front of the driver, you've got a digital display too. Very basic, not very customizable. Again, the focus here is to give you the displays that you need. Your revs are huge, so that's what you need to see at all times, because you are manual shifting too. So to see your revs nice, big and bright in front of you makes a big difference, with a little digital display in the center to show you exactly what gear you're in. And I love how it just changes every time you change gears. It's very well put together. And then to talk about the exterior design, now I'm not going to go into too much detail with this because you know exactly what a Supra looks like, but I love the silhouette of it. I love the way that it looks. I love the long elongated bonnet. And then coming to the rear, it's got that duckbill spoiler type design built into the deck lid of the boot. and that also just amplifies the sportiness of this car. And from the rear, you can also just see how wide this car is, and the way that those tail lights stretch right towards the edges. It really gives you that extended wide look of the Supra. And because this is a two-seater, you can bring in that design a little bit in towards the middle here, and then extend those arches for those wheels, because all you can see when you look into these side mirrors are Supra arches, and that is so dope. This has also been equipped with dark 19-inch wheels, and they're wrapped in Michelin Pilot Super Sports. So you've got all of the grip that you need, and all the traction to have fun in a car like this. And because this is an authentic sports car, you've got actual exhausts. And yes, it does sound good when you put down. Again, I have to concentrate so much. But yes, the exhausts are real. It makes proper sounds. And in between those exhausts, you've got almost like a Formula One style rain lights. So I think that's for the fog lights at the rear. So overall, with the design, the aggressive front end, those daytime running lights, the wheels, the long bonnet, the duckbill on the boot, those proper tailpipes, it really looks like an epic sports car. And I think the Supra design will definitely go down in history, just like the Mark IV did. And you can see here, the car just cruises nicely when it's in comfort. It's not too loud, it's quite comfortable. The suspension also gets a little bit softer, as I mentioned. So it's a lovely cruising, and you can definitely daily this car. And to carry on with the conversation around practicality, yes, this car does have a boot. There's no back seats either. So the boot is the only storage you're going to have. And the good thing about owning and driving a Supra is that that's all you think about. So you just want to get back to the car, which means you don't spend so much money on shopping and unnecessary stuff. But I will overlay another video to show you if you can fit golf clubs in here, because the shape in the back there shows me that you should be able to put something through here, because they've given you a little indent in between the two speakers back here. So we'll see if you can put a set of golf clubs in here or not. And then the pricing. So what would you expect to pay for a car like this? Have a think about it. It's quite unique. There's nothing else out there that really looks like it. It's authentic. You've got real pipes, you've got a lot of power, you've got a really nice interior, you're backed by BMW and Toyota. Let me know down in the comments what you would pay for this, and then you can see if you were right. So 3, 2, 1, 1.5 million. So 1.5 million rand is what you'd have to spend to get into a manual Toyota GR Supra. Now, weirdly enough, that's the entry level into the Supra range, because the automatic is the more expensive version, which is strange. Hey, you'd think this would be the unique offering, but funny enough, in South Africa, manuals, even in other entry-level cars, were always the cheapest go-to in a car. But overseas, the manual is the speciality car. But regardless, we're benefiting from that. So if you want to get into a manual Supra, you're going to have to spend 1.5 million rand. Now, if you're wanting to get into a Toyota Supra or any other Toyota, then go check one out on changecars.co.za. They're a website that sells new and used cars. Now, the best thing about them is that they vet and check every single dealership that sells cars on their website. So they know exactly who they are and what they're selling, making sure they're always in control of the quality of cars that they're selling on their website. Now, their website is also a hub for everything automotive. So you can go and watch car reviews, you can read articles, you can even do financial things, like going to see what you can afford per month through their finance calculator, as well as bringing them quotes from any other dealerships that aren't on Change Cars. And not only will they match the quote, but they'll beat it too. This is a very bumpy ride in here, and I'm in sport mode, that's why. So go check out changecars.co.za. They're also a proud partner of Greg Dennis Reviews. And then onto the verdict in the form of the GDR test. Should you get it, drive it, or remove it from the list of cars that you're looking at? Now, if you are looking into getting a sports car of this nature, I would say get it. You're going to stand out. It's very unique. It looks absolutely stunning, and it drives really well too. And I absolutely love how this car just integrates itself with this manual gearbox into a driver-focused car, with things being easy to access, no distractions, for enabling you to just concentrate on the one job that you have, which is to drive and have fun. Now, yes, it's not perfect. The interior could have done a little bit better in terms of where you would rest to be a little bit more comfortable, and the pedal set is also very narrow. I find my feet always knocking against each other down there in the footwell. Apart from that, this is a brilliant car. And that's it. Thanks for watching this great Dennis review. I hope you learned a little bit more about the Toyota GR Supra. I really enjoyed driving it over the past couple days. It was really a lot of fun. And if you did enjoy this, please would you drop a like below. And if you want to see more videos like this and other car related content, then make sure that you're subscribed. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.